Hi, Kathy here. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're feeling well. Hope you're managing to practice your social distancing and not get too bored at home or just somehow find, this new way of life for a while and hang in there. I'd like to just share some exercise, movements, some things that might help you for those of you who have issues with your neck and shoulders, which I do. And these are things that I practice pretty much on a daily basis, sometimes several times a day. So I'd like to share it with you and see if it maybe helps you get through this time. So the very first thing we want to do is close our eyes and notice what our neck and shoulders feel like. Notice where your head is on top of your shoulders. Like, how is everything lined up? Is your chin jutting forward? Does your head go forward? Which most of us tend to do a bit. Can you line that head up so that it's on top of your spine so that your muscles don't have to work so hard to hold your head up? How relaxed does your neck and shoulders feel? Do you feel tension in your shoulders? Do you feel it more on one side than the other? Do you feel tension at the top of your neck, at the base of your skull? What are you feeling? So just taking a moment and just tune in to what's going on there. And notice your breathing. Notice what your breathing is like. Notice what your thoughts are like. Are you managing to think about things that make you feel good, or is your mind having a tendency to run away with things that don't make you feel so great? So can we make a little bit of an effort to keep our thoughts on the things that make us feel happy and make us feel good, because there's lots to be grateful for, even in the most difficult times. So once you've done that, and you just make note of what you notice, you're not trying to really change anything, you're just noticing. The body really has the ability to self-correct if we allow it. If we notice is the first most important step. So once you've done that, let's bring our shoulders up as high as they'll go. That's comfortable. And then let's let them slowly and easily come down as far as they want to go. That's comfortable. We're not pushing them down and we're not pulling them up. We're just moving them in their comfort range. A healthy muscle, these are the trapezius muscles mostly that we're moving. Excuse me. A healthy muscle can fully contract and fully relax. We tend to keep our shoulders about here all the time. We're not very good at obviously keeping them relaxed, and we don't often bring them all the way up. So this is kind of a neat movement to play with to see how much of a range do we have in those muscles? How much of that muscle can we actually use? Or are we just kind of stuck here all the time? This is easy to do anywhere. You could do this, well, I normally would say while you're standing in line at the grocery, but we're trying not to do that too much right now. You can do this in your car, but of course we're trying to stay home right now. You can do this while you're watching TV. It is important, not that I recommend watching a lot of TV, it is important to see if you can bring your head lined up on top of your spine, not chin out, head forward posture. As much as you can, bringing your head on top of your spine. In other words, be as tall as you can be in a relaxed way. Just be tall. You don't have to do anything with your shoulders to be tall. You can relax your shoulders and just be tall. So that is a very important thing to do while we're doing these movements. We don't want to do it while we're in an awkward position. So let's be as tall as we can in a relaxed way, not efforting, and play with that movement. Now, if it doesn't have to be a big movement, if it's uncomfortable up here, then don't go up that far. Fine, you may have a tiny little comfort range. Whatever that is, just find that. And this is something to do slowly and thoughtfully. We're not trying to achieve anything. We're not really trying to stretch anything. We're just bringing that muscle through its full comfort range of motion and noticing what that feels like. Okay, you can pause. Now we're going to bring our ear to our shoulder. So, and once again, in the comfort range, not too far, right where it feels comfortable, and come back. We want to try to pivot roughly around the area of the nose. So the nose really doesn't move very much. And a lot of us, me included, will have a tendency to our head to go in kind of a little bit of a wonky direction when we do that. This is common. People want to do this. So what we're trying to do is keep the nose forward and pivot around that area. And I reach a point right here where it feels, it's not uncomfortable, it just feels like a little bit strained, or it's a little bit of a stretch. So that means I'm going too far. So I just want to stay where it's comfortable. And I don't usually do this when I can see myself, but I'm noticing that I have a tendency to rock my shoulders when I do it. So that's not really the idea either, but that's okay. But find that range that's totally comfortable. And I am noticing I'm wanting to come back past center, but the idea is we're going from center to one side and back to center. And notice if you're breathing. I mean, I know you are breathing, but notice what your breathing is like. Is it shallow? Is it comfortable? And sometimes when we concentrate, we do tend to breathe less. And back to center. And now let's try the other side. And once again, we want to pivot from the area of the nose, keeping the nose fairly stable. And we want to find the area that's comfortable. So when I come up to where it feels a bit of a pull, and that's okay, but next time I want to try to not go quite that far. How do I stop myself from pushing? How do I just stay in that nice, comfortable range? Can I just enjoy the fact that I have nice, easy movement in this range? And yours may be less than this. I mean, it could be a tiny little movement that's only this big. And that's okay. Very important to stay in that comfort range. And then pause. And for the next one, let's turn our head to the side. And the idea here is we're keeping our nose level and looking to one side and coming back to center. And see if you can find that comfort range. Where does it go easily and comfortable, and where does it start to sort of hang up a little bit. It's like, oh, it's a little bit harder to turn once I get there. Now, I could turn a lot further than that without any big discomfort. But I'm really trying to tune in and notice, where does it feel just a little bit different? Like, okay, I'm fine. I can go back now. Okay. So I'm not looking for the strain or where I can really push it, because just notice, like, if I do that, I can turn to there without any discomfort. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the very first time I notice any type of restriction or any change, and I want to come back to center. And I want to repeat that as many times as I'm comfortable. You can do this many, many times, as long as you keep it in with very little effort. And now let's try the other side. Same thing, keeping the head, keeping the nose level, right? So head's not going up or down or anything like that. We're staying right there with the head level. You might even try this with a mirror the first couple times to see, but I wouldn't suggest always doing it with a mirror, because we're really trying to go inside and pay attention to what we feel. So this isn't just something, oh, we're just trying to repeat and do this 10 times and do it over and over again. Each time we do it, we're noticing, we're sensing, we're bringing awareness to that whole area and what we feel. And I'm noticing that this side feels a lot different than the other side. I don't know if you're noticing, but I'm noticing that my head turns a lot further to this side than it does to the other side. Or easier. I don't know about necessarily further, but it feels a lot easier, more comfort. And that's okay. I'm not judging it. I'm just noticing it. Finding the ease, finding the comfort, finding the pleasure, finding the appreciation from my neck. We have a tendency to complain and say, oh, this hurts and that hurts. And yes, my neck hurts a lot, but what I'm doing in these exercises is noticing what feels good and appreciating what feels good. And pause. And this time we're going to play with pretending that our nose is a paintbrush or a crayon or pencil, and that the wall in front of us, or if there's a wall or an imaginary wall in front of us, that we're going to use our nose to write the alphabet. We could sign our name. I have a tendency when I do the alphabet that I start to try too hard. And this particularly is somewhere that it's very important to find the comfort here, to find the fluid ease. Imagine that you've lubricated that area right at the very top of your spine and the base of your skull. And that you're just feeling the fluids are all flowing there, and it's all moving really comfortably, but very, very small movements. So whatever you can do to not concentrate too much. I start to concentrate when I do the alphabet, so sometimes I'll stop and start drawing flowers or painting whatever comes to mind. Picture my cat. Any silly thing you think of, but whatever helps you relax and enjoy. And now maybe close your eyes again and just notice what you feel in your neck and shoulders. And you might feel something a little different, you might not. But just taking this time to just spend a little time there with a little bit of movement, just noticing what you feel, is very beneficial. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's helpful. And I hope you stay well, and I'll see you soon.